I actually also picked the Clippers as like my runner-up.
Nice.
And did you guys want to show the Mavs announcer clip?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room so I can talk to you, James. I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome wisdom about you. Because listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe
Wait, pause
in
it for a
me.
second.
I believe in you. You wanted a certain coach.
Scoot it back like 5 seconds. Watch how the camera even slowly pushes in because they know what's about to happen. Like this was planned.
Because listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me.
The face of the guy that is his partner when they pan to him, it's so funny because he's just
I believe in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You wanted to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh, my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there, and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You're holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with the guy believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works.
Look at the
James,
woman.
have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible. The bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard. You're not the system. You're the problem.
Oh, and the
Mic drop,
Devin.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That is just crazy.
What do you guys think about that?
I respect it because I agree. I don't know James Harden personally, but from the outside looking in, that guy was spot on. And how many times do you think he practiced that? The delivery was so good.
Yeah, the delivery was very good.
You don't know James Harden personally?
Not anymore.
So you guys had a falling out, so you agree with this guy, probably.
Was he your roommate?
Yeah.
Did he start swiping right?
He was swiping right.
Yeah. That's the main part I agree with. James Harden swiping right, for sure. Most
he was swiping right on everything.
Most of his free time, he's swiping right. Definitely agree with that.
Auto swipe right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's spot on with what he's saying. It seems like for a report, it seems personal a little bit.
It seems
for a reporter to be reporting on the NBA and going at an NBA player that hard is like kind of like stay in your lane a little bit, guy. But
I guess, but is he like a reporter or is he like a Mavericks like hype guy who's like clearly, you know what I mean? Like, is he like there to kind of like be biased for the Mavs? I don't really know.
I think he's like the Mavs post-game guy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they can be super opinionated because they're kind of on a smaller scale like that. But this blew up. So James Harden obviously.
Yeah.
But even if it is like our warrior, like Fitz and Buki, like if it was Fitz, if it was Fitz doing that, we would be like, why is Fitz going so hard on James Harden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Like, if I was a GM though, I would be probably steering clear of James Harden until I see otherwise. So, like, he's right about that. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But
definitely
at the same time, like, he's a shoo-in first ballot Hall of Famer. I feel it. So I don't know.
I agree. I just think that if James Harden put his skills to a more team-oriented use, that he would really make his teams a lot better.
He has for periods. Like remember, like there'd be like 15 games. There'd be like a month or two for the Nets where I was like, dang, James Harden might be like the best distributing point guard in the league. And then
yes, I agree, 100%. Rockets, when they had like Clint Capella and they ran that pick and roll with Chris Paul too, dude, it was unstoppable because he would either float, pull up, or lob to Clint, or go in and get fouled. And then, you know, I do kind of believe that the refs tried to correct, you know, maybe some of the things that James Harden trademarked that were like not natural game movements, right? And he kind of found a loophole. And I do feel like he was targeted a little bit after that so that he wasn't getting calls that maybe he should have gotten just on a normal, you know, level playing field. And I kind of feel like that is part of the reason why he like took a pretty quick decline. Because he went from having that Rocket season or a couple of Rocket seasons and playoff runs when they were playing like prime Warriors. And
also
in game 7.
He was like the entire system with Mike D'Antoni too. I mean, Steve Nash put up crazy numbers when he was that guy too. Not quite like Harden, but still, like that system was like made for Harden to put up numbers.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah, he's the system, sure, and he was doing it. He was facilitating, right?
Yeah,
assists, scoring, everything. But Steve Nash like was doing the same, but they still had the pieces, and you still have to like incorporate your teammates and be a good team player too.
And you have to be good enough. Not everyone can do like Steve Nash and James Harden are like not common NBA players. Like you have to be good enough to have the ball to create an offense around you where the ball's in your hand 90% of the time, unless you're kicking out or throwing a lob. Like, it's pick and rolls for them every play. Like you have to be so good at pick and rolls for them to, you know, create a whole offense around you. But I do think he's right that what you're saying, Jamie, about James Harden going other places after Houston and not being the same, that part of it is the system, but I think James Harden just got spoiled in Houston thinking that you can go other places and play that style of basketball, because he was just like everyone at Houston, the GM, the coach, and all the players were brought in to play around James Harden. Where if you go anywhere else where there's other stars and other coaches with other philosophies where it's not kind of built to be the James Harden system, it just doesn't work.
Good point.
Yeah. I still feel like he did it for stretches of games in Philly. Like he was just like a pure point guard, like distributing, not around him, for like medium-sized stretches in both Philly and Brooklyn. But I don't know, just maybe he was unhappy with that was the problem. Like he did it for a month or two, but then was like,
I honestly think too when he held Houston hostage to get out of there and got really out of shape. You know, when he was like not 25, he was like 29, 30 when that's happening. Like it's a different thing to like gain 30 pounds and lose 30 pounds when you're 30 than it is when you're 24. And
that's true.
And he to me has still never looked as lean as when he was in his prime in Houston. Even since coming back and getting back in shape, he still is like when you go back and look, you're like, oh shit, James Harden was really like lean back then.
$70